Welcome back to ARMS Beta. The series on my channel will look at all the unused content left on ARMS. Today's video is possibly the most exciting beta topic I can cover, and it is a video that I've also been wanting to do for a while now. ARMS is a game with a surprising amount of unused content. I would say even enough to keep updating the game for a good while. And since sadly this game is pretty niche, nobody has really taken the time to crack it open. As I like to say, this is literally the only video on YouTube discussing the topic of ARMS' unused content, so I'd really appreciate it if you could drop a like, subscribe, and check out my other content for more ARMS stuff. Anyways, today we're gonna take a look at just one part of ARMS' unused content, specifically all of the unused weapons. Before we start, it's worth noting that all of this information was taken from the files of ARMS 1.0, since most of these were deleted by the time version 5.4 dropped. ARMS 1.0 has 88 entries for different ARMS in its files, but only few of these are unused, as the other entries refer to ARMS that are either already in-game, or simply early test files of existing ARMS that aren't worth looking over. Now would also be a good time to mention ARMS that was unable to load. As you can see in the picture here, there's quite a few of them, but don't worry as I managed to load most of them into the game. Some of the most interesting ones here are the two bowling arms, since the bowling minigame was likely scrapped early on. And I also find interest in both yo-yo arms, as they're the only ones in this batch that have a distinct element. And yo-yos as weapons are cool as fuck. Moving on to the actually used but not playable arms section, we have all of Brass's arms, Lockjaw this early on surprisingly, Clapback, which has the only unused arm model in the game, Bark's Toaster, which also changes your left arm model for some reason, and the Cell's target from the online warm-up mode. You can't do much with it, but hey, it's there. Well, now after all this, let's get into the actual meat of the video. Most of these unused arms also feature their own scrapped weapon classes, and some of them are part of already existing weapon classes, so let's take a look on the quote-unquote unused copy weapons. First up, we have Parasol CP. It's the same as Parasol, except its rush is very different. Now we have Phalanx CP. This is an explosive version of the Guardian. This arm is the only one with special effects as you can see here. I actually used this in my ARMS remix mod. Normal Fire CP2. It's a weird mix between Toaster and the Mega Arms. The name doesn't help at all either, since this seems to be a slightly faster Ice Megaton. Shield E. It's literally just a shield, can't give a better explanation than that. With those out of the way, we can start looking at the completely new arm classes. First up we have Snake. I tried putting several models over it, but unfortunately it would simply not load with one. It's really hard to tell what it's actually doing without a model, but here it is. The only other arm without a visible model is Hand. As the name suggests, it's literally just a hand. You can't attack with it, no grabbing and no rushing. This makes me think this was probably used in some kind of situation where your character didn't have any arms equipped. Moving on, we have the Gum Shield. This arm needs no introduction, but to go over the basics, this is a bizarre version of the clapback, but does more than just reflecting. You can completely trap your enemy's arms on it. For more in-depth look at the gun back, you can watch the video I made on it, and I'll link it down below. Sky Shotgun. This arm is an unused stun multi-shot type. The bullets on this arm will always get thrown pretty high. However, when they're charged, the attacks work similar to Tri-Bolt. Sky Shotgun's rush attack is like a slower version of Tri-Bolt's too, except the bullets are smaller, travel in the air, and deal much more damage. I can honestly see why this arm was scrapped. It's really hard to land a hit with this, and Hydra does everything Sky Shotgun does, but way better. These next two arms are pretty similar. Up Down B is a mega type arm that automatically aims down. You can angle it up though. The rush isn't anything worthwhile either. Up Down S is exactly the same as Up Down B, except it's on Tri-Bolt this time. It's pretty unfortunate these two arms aren't really that worthwhile. But to make up for the disappointment these two are, I'll drop some trivia. The names for these two scrapped arms make much more sense than you think. The B in Up Down B refers to Big, which is the internal codename for all the mega type arms. So we can infer that the S in Up Down S refers to Shotgun, which is the internal codename for some of the multi-shot arms. Pretty cool, right? Moving on, we have Spread. This multi-shot type arm is very interesting. When thrown in the ground, it slides around and it's kinda hard to hit. The fun part though comes when you angle it up. As you can see, when angled up, at the peak of its height, this arm spread all its bullets around. Rush works pretty much the same way. In my opinion, this feels kinda like a multi-shot dragon, and this arm is pretty cool. With some reworks, I'd love to see this back in the game or a sequel. Something you'll notice with these arms is that most of them use the Tri-Bolt model, but don't worry as we only have 2 more of those to go. Another thing you'll notice is that some of these arms only activate when angled up. Anyways, take a look at Swatter. This arm is one of my favorite unused arms. This is literally just a stun type fly swatter. The concept is very silly and I love it. Without angling it, it works like Spread, but slower. When angled up, the arm extends pretty far off actually. It's really fun to see it in action. The rush is also pretty crazy and fun to look at. This is another arm I'd love to see brought back into the game. Finally, to end up the multi-shot arms, we have Unite. This arm seems pretty complete to me if I'm being honest, and the concept is really cool too. It's basically an explosive tri-arm that spreads for a bit, but then locks into your enemy into one single shot. You can see that the further you are, the slower these shots will come together, and its rush is pretty much a regular tri-rush. I left my favorite unused arms for last, and this one is definitely one of them. Next up, we have Sword. I don't really have much to say about this arm, but it is one of my favorites nonetheless. This arm is a curving arm that goes over Slap-O-Mander. However, it feels very different from it, but I can't put my finger on it. It is definitely slower than Slap, and its rush pushes you very, very far back. Pile. This arm is very odd, and I have no idea how to describe it. It goes over Homie, and it looks like an extending rocket. Again, I'm going with a more show don't tell approach with this one, since it's very odd, but very funny as well. Cutter. This is my second favorite unused arm, and I promise the first arm is going to be the best one you'll see. Anyways, Cutter is a very unique curving and linear arm hybrid. If you're close to your opponent, you can punch them, but if you're a good distance, when you throw your arm out, it stalls for a second. If you step on it, you'll be attacked. However, if you keep it there long enough, it releases a big cutter. The rush also works like this, and I honestly think this arm wouldn't be as broken as it sounds on paper, especially given that this seems to be a light arm, but alas, you'll never know. Enjoy this cutter gameplay. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for. What's the best unused arm? Well, let me show you off script. Okay, so here we are in game now. I'm gonna show you the arm. So we have CPU level 4 because I still don't have the hang of this arm, but you'll see. So you can see the model's a bit bugged, but yes, then again, none of these arms have their unique models, so they have to uh, use existing models for them to work. So here's this arm. I'm gonna test it against Min. So yeah, I've been keeping the name a mystery, but it's nothing like very out of the ordinary. The codename for this arm is Blade, and you're gonna see. So right here I'm very far away from Min, and to launch it, it just like launches very quickly straight into her. I'd be thinking, oh, this is nothing special, just like another arm in the game. That's where you're wrong. Now look at what happens when I get close to Min and start attacking. Hopefully she doesn't fuck up my attempt at attacking. Yes, this is very fucking cool. Holy shit. So, I think this arm is meant to be a katana or something. It doesn't say what kind of sword it is. We just know it's a blade. So basically, long range attacks are stabs, long stabs, and close range attacks are like slashes. This arm is a stun type arm, and it's just really fucking cool, especially because if well, whenever I play, I usually like keeping short distances from my opponents, and this is like fucking short range player's dream. So yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. I'm gonna test it with another arm. This really works well with complements. So obviously we have the blade for a short distance, and then the roaster for the damage. So we come here close to the moon. Okay, so that's something I didn't talk about. I think when you fail a sword attack or when it clashes with something else, instead of it just falling to the ground, it just like bounces off like a real sword, which I think is pretty cool. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I am not sure about the distance you gotta be from them. Obviously, the sword isn't super long, but you have to be short distance. That's how both attack modes trigger. So if you're far away, it goes like this. And honestly, this is like, I feel like this other attack mode is like just something they put in because like, oh, well, I mean, you gotta have a long range option. This is arms. So you have long range, which is really hard to hit. Then close range is where this blade really shines. So the rush is like the normal attack kinda, but I don't think the rush is that special, if I'm being honest. Oh, this is amazing for grab confirms too, since it's stun type. I'm gonna play another round with Blade after this, because honestly it's like the one of the most fun arms I've played in this game, and like this really deserves to be added in a sequel. Uh, I might do a mod with it, but that would require animations and other stuff. Something I'm not experienced in, but we'll see. So let's go again. And use same set because this set is pretty good. So the model's sometimes weird. Sometimes it goes like down there. Sometimes it stays up. And I think I get what they're trying to do with this because like sword stances, but I'm not sure if it's just like a glitch or something. I think one of the weaknesses of this is like the retraction speed though. It like when you slash with the sword or blade, it just like stays there for long. Speaking of which, I said sword several times, but sword is another unused arm. It's just like a slower slap. Blade is the arm, the cool one, this one. I get them confused because, I mean, similar names. This is so fucking cool. Holy shit. There we go. Now, final set. Grab? No. Was too slow. Yeah, I feel like this needs to be a bit faster to work like as combo food. Oh yeah, the slash does damage. That's pretty cool. No. I haven't been showing far away attacks with this because honestly it's like very hard to hit and not worthwhile. But I think it's still really cool that this arm has 2 attack modes. Let's see if we can get the Fable stun grab combo. Come on. You know you want to get stun grab. Let's go. So yeah, that's, in my opinion, the coolest unused arm in this game. Honestly, this needs to be in a sequel. Please, Nintendo, please put this in a sequel. I fucking love this arm. So yeah, that's pretty much every unused arm. Alrighty, what'd you think? Arms' unused content is very interesting, and I'm proud to be the first one covering such a topic. If you guys know me well, you know Arms is my favorite game of all time, so this is something I'm really passionate about. It's unfortunate this game's updates ended so quickly, especially now that I'm able to see some of the team's creative ideas, and I wish and hope Nintendo gives this amazing game another chance. It's also sad that I couldn't load some of these unused arms, but maybe in the future we can see them in action. What was you guys' favorite unused arm? I honestly feel like I could make a solo video of just the blade katana, but that might be for another day. I really hope you guys enjoyed this ARMS beta video. So I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, and don't forget to subscribe for more ARMS content.